20 survival plants that grow anywhere. The sun had barely risen when Joao woke up to the sound of rain hitting the tin roof. He rubbed his eyes and looked out the window. Outside, the street was flooded, and the wind was shaking the trees hard. Worst flood of the year, he thought. Joao lived alone in a simple neighborhood on the outskirts, and in the last few months, things had gotten more difficult. Money was tight, and the food in the cupboard wouldn't last until the end of the month. While preparing thin coffee, he heard a knock on the door. It was Dona Maria, the 60-year-old neighbor who everyone called the wise woman on the street. She held a plastic bag full of green leaves. "Joao, did you see the news?" he asked, entering without ceremony. The city hall warned that the flood could cut the roads. If there's no food, we are left in the lurch. Joao sighed and ran his hand through his disheveled hair. "I know, Dona Maria. My stomach is already growling just thinking about it." She opened the bag and showed the leaves. "Just look. This is milkweed. It grows in any corner, even in the middle of the asphalt. And you can eat it raw or cooked. There are more: dandelion, nasturtium, tioba." She pointed out each one. "If we know what to get, we won't go hungry." John frowned. "But I don't understand anything about plants, Dona Maria. What if I get a poisonous one?" She laughed, sitting on the plastic kitchen chair. "That's why I'm here. I will teach you. Let's start with the easiest ones." The first ride after breakfast, the two went out under an old umbrella. The street was full of puddles, but Dona Maria didn't seem to mind. He stopped in front of a vacant lot, where the grass grew tall. "Look over there," he said, pointing to some wide, green leaves. "This is the tioba. You have to cook it well, otherwise it burns in your mouth. But it's full of energy, just like a potato." John hesitated. "Are you sure you won't kill me? If it were poisonous, I would have died 40 years ago," she joked. "Now, this one," he picked up a small plant with yellow flowers, "is the dandelion. The leaves are bitter, but you can make a salad. And the roots, if roasted, turn into a somewhat weak coffee, but it helps." Joao wrote everything down in an old notebook, with crooked handwriting. "What if I don't find these plants on my street?" Dona Maria smiled. "Then you look for others. There is purslane, which even grows in sidewalk cracks. Or the bertalia, which climbs any wall. Even the papaya, which bears fruit all year round." They continued walking, and Joao became more and more surprised. On the way, they met Susie E., the owner of the grocery store on the corner, who was sweeping up the water from the door. "Dona Maria, what are you teaching Joao?" he asked, curious. "Survival, Susie E. Plants that save us when we run out of money." The man scratched his head. "I have a boldo tree in the backyard." "What is it for?" "For stomach pain, Susie E. And to make tea when we have a heavy stomach." "Wow, I never imagined there were so many useful things out there," said Joao. Dona Maria patted him on the shoulder. "Nature is smart. She gives us what we need. We just need to learn to see." The list of 20 plants that afternoon, after walking around the neighborhood, Dona Maria sat down with Joao at the kitchen table and began to make a list. "Let's write down the 20 plants that help the most. That way you don't forget. 1. Milkweed, edible leaves and flowers, rich in iron. 2. Dandelion, leaves for salad, roots for coffee. 3. Tioba, leaves and rhizomes, cooked. 4. Purslane, grows anywhere, rich in omega-3. 5. Nasturtium, flowers and leaves with a peppery taste. 6. Bertalia, climber with nutritious leaves. 7. Papaya dumadu, small but sweet fruit. 8. Boldo, tea for digestion. 9. Mint, grows easily, helps with headaches. 10. Wormwood, bitter, but good for worms. 11. Karuru, leaves similar to spinach. 12. Nettle, cooked, it becomes a powerful vegetable. 13. Oroponobis, leaves full of protein. 14. Plantain, the heart of the banana tree is edible. 15. Rosemary, seasoning and tea for memory. 16. Horsetail, diuretic tea, helps with the kidneys. 17. Picao, tea leaves, helps the liver. 18. Beef tongue, large leaves, good for sautéing. 19. Peixinho, plant with leaves that resemble fried fish. 20. Erva de Santa Maria, keeps away insects and helps with digestion. Joel looked at the list, impressed. Dona Maria, do you know all this off the top of your head? I learned it from my grandmother, who learned it from her mother. And now I'm passing it on to you. The fireproof 2 weeks later, the flooding got worse. The streets turned into rivers, and the nearest supermarket became inaccessible. Joao woke up with an empty stomach, but he remembered the list. He took a bag and left. In my backyard, I already had a mint plant and a rosemary plant. In the vacant lot, he collected purslane and dandelions. At Susie's house, he asked for some boldo. When he returned, Dona Maria was at the door, with a smile. What's up, Joao? It achieved? I achieved, he said, showing the bag. Today lunch is dandelion salad with purslane and boldo tea. She laughed. Very good. Now you know, when there is a lack of food, nature finds a way. Joel looked at the plants and smiled. I will never go hungry again. The legacy over time, Joao taught other neighbors. Susie A. started planting boldo in the grocery store. The girl next door, Lucia, learned to recognize the nasturtium. And Dona Maria, proud, said to everyone, wisdom is not just for those who have money. It's for those who have eyes to see. And so, between plants and conversations, an entire community learned to survive. Not with luxury, but with what the land gave for free. And Joao, who before only saw weeds in the yard, now saw food, medicine, and hope. Joao woke up early, as always. The sun had barely appeared yet, but he was already standing, with the hoe in his hand. The backyard, previously just grass, now looked like a small survival garden. Good morning, Joao, shouted Dona Maria from the fence. I brought you some tioba plants. I found it near the river. Thanks, Dona Maria, he replied, wiping the sweat from his forehead. I'm going to plant it there, near the fence. She smiled and handed over the seedlings. Lucia said she wants to learn how to make mint tea. Do you teach her today? Of course. After lunch we do it. Joao dug the holes and buried the seedlings carefully. He thought about how things had changed. Before, he thought that only supermarket food would do. Now, he knew that the ground beneath his feet held more than he imagined. At the end of the afternoon, Lucia arrived running. John, look what I found. She opened her hand. Inside were sunflower seeds. I found it near the road. Can I plant? Maybe yes. But do you know the best? It's not just the flower that works. The seeds are great to eat. Serious? Her eyes sparkled. Serious. And you can even make oil. Lucia jumped with joy. Then I'm going to plant a bunch. John laughed. Calm down, girl. One step at a time. Later, Zie appeared with a burlap bag. Joao, I brought some Ora pronobis plants. I heard it's good for your health. And yes, it has iron, protein, almost like a green steak. Mr. Zie scratched his head. And how do we eat? You can saute, make breading, even soup. I'll show you. The two sat on the balcony. Joao took a handful of leaves and began to explain. First, wash well. Then cut the thorns. If not, it hurts your mouth. Mr. Zie wrote everything down in an old notebook. What if I want to plant it in my backyard? It's easy. Just stick a branch in the ground. In a short time, it is already growing. The old man smiled. Then I'll take some home. As they talked, the wind swayed the leaves of the plants. John looked around. The yard was full of life. It wasn't a pretty garden, like the kind in a magazine. But it was strong. It resisted drought, the sun, and lack of care. And, most importantly, it fed those who needed it. You know, Zie, Joao said, thoughtfully. Before, I thought I knew everything. But now I see that I still have a lot to learn. That's the way it is, boy. The earth teaches every day. Lucia arrived with a glass of mint tea. It's ready. Try it. John took a sip and smiled. Perfect. The sun began to set, painting the sky orange. The plants, quiet, seemed to be grateful. John took a deep breath. It wasn't just about surviving. It was about living better, with less fear and more confidence. Tomorrow, he said, I'm going to teach you how to make green banana flour. Mr. Zie laughed. I'm already writing it down. And so, between laughter and teachings, another day ended. But the best was yet to come. Joao woke up before the sun. The smell of wet earth invaded the simple house. He stretched and looked out the window. The plants were already there, standing firm, as if saying, "Shall we begin?" Lucia fiddled with the wood stove. "Coffee is almost ready," she warned. Susie arrived with a bucket of fresh water. "Today will be hot. Better enjoy the morning." Joao took the knife and went to the banana tree. He cut some green ones, still hard. "First lesson, choose the right ones," he said, showing the bananas. "Too ripe, it's not possible. It has to be like this, half green." Lucia brought a wooden board. "Are you ready to grind?" "Of course." John laughed. "But first, we wash it well." Mr. Zie took an old grater. "This one has seen a lot of flour." They worked together. Joao cut the bananas into thin slices. Lucia scolded. Susie was putting everything on a clean cloth. "Now, squeeze it well," Joao explained. "You have to get all the liquid out." Lucia squeezed the cloth tightly. "Wow, it looks like it's alive." "It's the humidity," Susie said. "If you don't take it off, it'll ruin it." After squeezing, they spread the zest into a large sieve. "Now, wait for it to dry," Joao said. "It could be in the sun or near the fire." Lucia looked at the sky. "Today the sun is strong. It will dry quickly." Mr. Zie took a handful of the still damp flour. "Can you eat like this now?" "Yes," Joao replied. "But it's better to toast. It tastes better and lasts longer." They lit the fire. They placed a large pan and stirred the zest with a wooden spoon. "You have to move constantly," Joao warned. "Otherwise it will burn." The smell of roasted bananas filled the air. Lucia smiled. "This will be good with coffee." After half an hour, the flour was ready. It was thin, golden. "Now, just keep it in a tightly closed container," Joao said. Susie tried a little. Better than wheat flour." Lucia laughed. "You say that about everything we do." "Because it's true." Mr. Zie shrugged. Joao grabbed a handful and threw it into the air, as if it were confetti. "We'll do more tomorrow. And teach us how to make cassava tapioca." "Wow, but we don't have cassava here," Lucia said. "Yes, there is." Susie pointed to the backyard. "That one, remember? I planted it last year." Lucia's eyes widened. "That ugly little thing?" "Ugly, but strong," Joao said. "And you can do a lot of things." The sun was already up. The smell of coffee mixed with new flour made everything lighter. "Today lunch is about flour," announced Lucia. "I'm going to make an angu." Mr. Zie rubbed his hands. "Now yes." Joao looked at the yard, full of plants that previously meant nothing to him. Now, each one was a lesson. A chance not to go hungry. A way to help others. "You know what's funny?" he said. "Before, I just wanted to know about big cities, technology, that sort of thing. Now, I look at a green banana and I see a whole world." Lucia placed her hand on his shoulder. "We only understand what is important when we really need it." Susie nodded. "And the earth always finds a way." The wind shook the leaves of the plants. It seemed like they agreed. Joao took a hoe and started weeding near the banana trees. The earth was moist and easy to move. "I need to learn more about these plants," he said, half to himself. Lucia laughed. "Calm down, boy. It's not just digging and planting. There's a right time, a right way." "Like what?" "Like cassava. If you harvest it too soon, you could even poison someone." John's eyes widened. "Serious?" "Serious. You have to wait about 8 months. And you can't eat it raw, you have to cook it well." Susie approached, wiping his hands on his apron. "And the banana, then? If you let it ripen too much on the tree, it becomes bird food." "What if you pick it green?" John asked. "Then it turns into flour, angu, even cake," Lucia replied. "But you have to know how to do it." Joao looked at the yard again. Each plant had its secrets. "And the dandelion?" "I saw a lot there." "Ah, that's easy," Susie said. "Good leaf for salad. Roasted root turns into coffee. Even the flowers can be eaten. And you don't need to plant it," Lucia added. "Born alone." John smiled. "So it's kind of a gift from nature." "That's right," Susie said. "You just need to know what to do with it." The smell of angu rose through the kitchen. Joao felt his stomach growl. "Let's eat," Lucia called. "Then we continue." Joao dropped the hoe and followed the two inside. The sun was already stronger, but the yard seemed more alive than ever. He knew he still had a lot to learn. But now, every day was a new class. Joao sat at the wooden table. The dish steamed with angu and a handful of green leaves. "Is this a dandelion?" he asked, pointing to the leaves. "Yes," Lucia laughed. "But I washed it well. It's not just about ripping it off and eating it, okay?" Susie took a piece of corn cake. "You have to watch where you get it. If there's a lot of cow or dog poison, it's no good." Joao bit a leaf. The taste was bitter but fresh. "It's not bad. Just different. Over time, we get used to it," Susie said. "The good thing is that it fills your belly and doesn't cost anything." Lucia poured a glass of water with lemon. "And there's more. Those yellow flowers? You can make jelly." John's eyes widened. "Dandelion jelly?" "Yeah. Sweet and fragrant. It looks like honey," she explained. "But you need to pick the flowers in the morning, before the sun shines." John looked out the window. The backyard looked like a treasure. "And that plant over there? The one with the purple leaves?" "Or a pronobis," Susie replied. "One of the best. It grows anywhere. You don't need to take care of it. And it has iron, protein." "Protein?" Joao almost choked. "Yes. It cooks like spinach. Or eat it raw, if you wash it well." Lucia took a handful of leaves and placed them on his plate. "Try it." Joao chewed slowly. The taste was reminiscent of kale, but milder. "I liked." "And where else do you find this?" "On walls, fences, even in the middle of the woods," Susie said. "The plant is resistant. It survives even in drought." Joao wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. "So, if one day I get lost in the woods, can I eat these things?" "Yes," Lucia confirmed. "But you have to know which is which. Some plants kill." John became serious. "Like poison?" "Yeah. There's a leaf that looks like it, but isn't. That's why we teach slowly," Susie explained. "Better to make a mistake here, with us by your side, than out there alone." Joao looked at the empty plate. He thought about how much he still didn't know. "And tomorrow? What do we learn?" Lucia smiled. "Tomorrow is Nasturtium Day. Beautiful flowers, taste like pepper. And you can eat everything, leaf, flower, even the seed." "Seed?" John frowned. "Yes. It roasts and turns into a type of pepper. Or save it to plant later." Susie got up and picked up a straw hat. "Let's go outside. Better to see it up close." Joao followed the two back to the yard. The sun was already high, but he didn't feel tired. Just curiosity. And a great desire to learn more and more. Joao stopped near a flower bed full of green leaves and orange flowers. "Is that the nasturtium?" he asked, pointing. Lucia nodded. "It's her. Just look." She tore off a sheet and handed it to him. "Smell." Joao held the sheet close to his nose. A fresh, slightly spicy smell. "It looks like arugula." Mr. Z laughed. "It's like that, but stronger. And the flower is sweet." Lucia picked an orange flower and gave it to Joao. "Try it." He bit down carefully. The taste exploded in the mouth. Sweet at first, then a gentle heat. "Ow. It's really good." "It's sore." Lucia smiled. "And there's more. Green seeds, for example." She pointed to a tree with pods hanging from it. "When they are green, we use them instead of capers. Salt it and that's it." Joao took a pod and squeezed it. Inside, 3 green balls. "And when are they ripe?" "Then roast it," Susie explained. "It's like black pepper, only milder." Joao looked at the flower bed again. "And does it grow anywhere?" "Almost," Lucia replied. "It likes the sun, but can handle a little shade. And it doesn't need a lot of water. Perfect for those just starting out," Susie added. John crouched down and touched the earth. "Can I plant one now?" Lucia took a dry seed from a small pot. "Of course. Make a small hole with your finger, about 2 centimeters deep." John obeyed. He placed the seed and covered it with earth. "And now?" "Now just water," Susie said. "And wait." Joao took the watering can and wet the place. How long does it take? About 10 days for it to sprout, Lucia replied. Then it grows quickly. Joao stood up and wiped his hands on his pants. What if I want to take it home? You can harvest the ripe seeds, Susie said. Keep it in a bag and plant it later. Lucia took a handful of dry seeds and placed them in Joao's hand. Here. So you don't forget. Joao closed his fingers around them. Thanks. Susie looked at the sky. It's lunchtime. Shall we eat? Joao looked at the flower bed again. Can I take some salad leaves? Lucia laughed. Of course. But leave some for the plant to grow. Joao carefully picked some leaves and flowers. As he walked home, he thought about how something so simple could be so useful, and how I still had a lot to learn.